everyone, Bev from Art by Bedell with part 2 of Junk Journal January 29th, Geometric. If you haven't seen video 1, it was when we created this piece of fabric to use as our geometric pieces for our journal page. You may want to go back and catch that. It is linked below. So in our journal we have, I think, three pages left to use, and one of them is this one, and I thought, well, I don't know that I want to do anything to this page, so that one page wasn't going to be enough, neither was that one page. So I think with the conclusion I came to was way back here, page right here. So it is just one page with a little bit. So I think I decided to go with this page. I have to use it at some point, and I only have 2 more prompts left. So what I want to do with this page is to make a belly band out of our fabric. So we don't need it to be real wide, and we're going to hopefully tear it. And I think maybe this is about 2 inches that I'm just going to tear a strip off our fabric and use for a belly band. So there, the beginning of our geometric prompt with a rectangle for a belly band. There, we'll be all right. We'll use this end down here because this one kind of ruffled up on us. So let me cut that down to size, which is about here. And that's going to go on our page like this. But before we add that to the page, we need to do something to the back. We need to do something to this first. We'll start with inking up the edges, and that one's already been done, so we'll get some on this side here. After I've done that, I'm going to put some paper in our journal here to protect it a little bit, and I want to add some of my sap green acrylic ink to it. And this does not have any gesso on it, so the ink will not respond the way I want it to. So the first thing I need to do is to add a little gesso to it. And we'll do it to this page also, and then we'll dry it. Now we can add our ink, and it will respond the way I like it, is to bleed out when I add a little bit of water. So we will add a little bit of water. And I think I'm also going to use a paintbrush to move this around a little bit instead of more water. More water, of course, does change the color of the paint a little bit. It lightens it. And let's get another piece of paper back here. I think we'll just do the drops. And then we'll have to dry that. Okay, and that's all I want to do to that. And this is going to match because we use that color on our belly band. And now we need to do some geometric shapes. So let's get a square. We'll start with a square. And are we going to be perfect about it? No, we're not. We're just going to do what we do and it'll be good. So we have a square, we have a rectangle. How about if we get a triangle? So we will fold this down and cut this, and then cut this in half to get our triangle. So we'll have 2 triangles if we should want to use 2 triangles. So now we have a rectangle, triangles, and a square. How about a circle? I have the templates from Fiskars, and I'm going to take one of these. Let's see what size I want. Probably about this size right here. And I'll do this leaf right here. Draw around it. And then we'll just cut that out. Now, in order for these to stand out, and I'm going to take our belly band off to the side here, put my book aside for a moment. In order for these to stand out on our belly band, we're going to have to line them with something. This is a little bit crooked. Let's see if we can straighten that up a little bit. That's better. So we have 3 of them will be enough. Let's put the triangle in the center, maybe, like that. Our geometric shapes, and they need to be back. So if we take some drywall tape here and run strip of it down our belly band. That will separate this a little bit. Is it enough? Maybe if I go around the outside edge with some ink, let's see what we can do with the StazOn ink and inking up the edge of this, if that'll be enough. Okay, so what I decided to do for the belly band, I'm going to add this piece of drywall tape down through here. I'm trying not to be too precious about things, but when it comes right down to it today, I'm going to be precious about this print. That is part of the reason for me making this page, is to do the fabric. So I don't want to hide that. Now I know we're going to see it in our geometric shapes, but I also want to see it on the belly band. So I have another piece of fabric that I'm going to lay on here that complements it very well. And I thought about putting our shapes like this, but then I thought, there goes the whole belly band thing. So I have decided that I'm going to stack my shapes more like this, so that we still see a little bit of this fabric here, and we see a lot of our belly band and our shapes here. So I am going to go ahead and take that into the sewing machine and sew that down, and then I'll come back and we'll put a focal point right here in the center of this triangle. So I will be back. All right, I have sewn around all the edges, and as I was walking back to my sewing machine, I'm like, oh, my handmade paper that I was hoarding, that I decided to start using. And I added a piece of it to the back of my fabric piece here, and I just love the way that looks. Now I should ink up the edge, this edge over here. Now I have these 3 wooden antique buttons, and I want to sew them on the belly band also, if I can get through all of these layers. Okay, maybe I just need to sew this one to just the one layer, because it's not sewn on the, I only caught it here on the very point when I was machine stitching, because I knew I wanted to add a button. But since I can't get through all of the layers of the fabric that we painted, I am going to just pull this up and stitch my button on, which is turning out to be very difficult. My button stitched on, and then I'll glue it down. So if I just get my button on there with a few stitches, like maybe 3 stitches, I think that will hold that. And it's not like we're using it to hold a garment or something together. There we go. And then I'll tie off my thread in the back, and then I can apply some glue to that. I'll use fabric glue to glue that down in place. And then over on the, I'm putting another button on the top and on the bottom, and the only layer I'll be going through is 1 instead of 4 layers of fabric, so we'll be better off. And these are wooden buttons from the Civil War era. They have 2 layers. One layer is the back part of the button, and then they had another layer of the flower on top, and some of it's broken away, but the buttons are still pretty cool, and even though they're not in mint condition, they're still valuable to me to use in my journaling, because they are really cool buttons. One more button down at the bottom. And that completes our belly band. Let's get our journal brought back. See how it looks on our page. I'm really liking that. Because I added the extra paper, it goes above and below are the size of our page, my page that I'm putting it on, but I'm okay with that. So I love our geometric shapes on here. Let me get some glue on the back to glue this on here. I think I'll use tacky glue for that. And I'm going to clamp this down just until it dries to hold it in place. And while that's drying, then we'll work on our opposite page here, which is right here. Now it's a very small page. I don't have really any plans for it. Okay, so to finish this page over here, I have some tissue paper that a friend had sent me, and I'm just going to tear it down and get a little bit of it here. And I want to attach it to this page. And I'm going to do that with my glue stick. So it has this real pretty green on it that I think matches our page perfectly. And so that is why I'd like to use it here. Dry, and then we'll pull off the bottom. But she also sent me a die cut with a tree on it. And I think that color matches this paper really well. So I want to put that there also. There won't be a purpose for this page other than just the beauty of it. And this is very, very pretty. So we should have something that will ground our tree. And I'm thinking maybe this other triangle, that other triangle could make a tuck spot also. But that triangle would ground our tree for us. And since I'm going to build something to put in my belly band, I'm not going to try worrying about any journaling room over here. It's such a small page anyhow. So I'm going to go ahead and glue this piece of fabric on with my fabric glue. So that addresses our geometric a little bit more also with having a triangle over here. Triangles make awesome tuck spots, corner tuck spots. There we go. Now I really am thinking I would like to put this tree on here, just like that. So let me get some glue on that. There, so we have leaves over here and we have a tree. Now this is a pine tree, so obviously it's not going to have those type of leaves on there. But we're after the theme, and it doesn't matter what it's got. There we go. Of nature, and so we're not being particular about whether we have the correct tree with that or not. Now over here, I need something to put in our belly band, and I was thinking that big oval that I had that I thought was too big could make a journal card, but we want it to be out of our fabric, right? Now, is that big enough? Let me see if I have a bigger oval. I do. The outside circumference around the outside is too big, so we're going to use the center, and I'll draw it on my fabric right here and cut it out just like I did for the other shapes. So there we have our oval. Let's take these clips off. They're bothering me. Have our oval, and we'll need to back that with something. And I think we'll back it with the same paper. Let me set our book aside again. And let us tear this to size. Oh, I love the way this paper tears. You guys are going to get sick of hearing me rant about this paper. I want to ink up around the edges of this paper with my Vintage Oxide Distress ink. And this paper can be written on, so the back will be used for journaling. Here we go. And of course, you know I'm going to add texture to this. We added some drywall tape to our belly band. Let's add some to our journal card. And I don't believe I want to add any stamping to this. I want this just to stand out. So let's get maybe a piece of this ribbon. Put that on here. Tea bag. And then I think by the time I stitch around that and find a focal point for here, then this will be done. So I will go stitch around this and then be back. All right, so for my centerpiece, I have this all stitched all around, and I needed a focal point. You're going to see it here for the first time. I'm making these little clusters that you'll notice in my journals from here on out for a while anyhow, until I get tired of them. But I have this one that would match really, really, really well. So I'm going to add it. All I have done is taken a piece of burlap, a tea bag, piece of fabric that I did some French knots on, and a piece of lace and one of my wooden buttons. And then I'm going to take it to my, like this. Let's see, what side do I want it on? I want it right here. I don't want it dead on the center. I want to see my fabric. If I put it in the center, it covers up. I want to see a little bit more of it. So I'm going to put it down here. So I'll glue that on with my fabric glue. And once again, I have created another bulky item for my journal That's okay. It may not close, but do we really care? No, we don't. And then we can journal on the back of this. So then we have our journal card, our belly band, we have some geometric shapes. Our card fits in there perfectly. And we have it nature themed. And my favorite color of green and brown. There's no pink, but green and brown. So let me pull this up so you can get a good view. There we go. And then our journal card. I hope you have enjoyed this project, and I hope that you have followed along with Junk Journal January and gotten a lot of good ideas for you to use throughout the rest of the year. So we shall see you tomorrow for the prompt of travel. You have a great day. Bye now.